Hello and welcome to Head and Shoulders, where we cover athletes' performances, coaches, everything in between and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. Today, you see the title, you see the thumbnail, you know what we're on today. We're going to talk about how fast they're going to run at the Olympics, right? And who may be able to hit that 10.5. Are they going to be able to do it? Look, here you go. How fast will Shelly-Ann, Elaine, Shericka, and others go in the 100? And the reason why I use them because they're the fastest women in the world. It might actually be a Jamaica sweep. I think other athletes can get in there, but if what Dina Asher-Smith had posted up on her IG, I think, is there and her form is not improving from what happened at the British trials, she might not have a chance of being in that cut unless it's a real fall off. But Talu, Dina Asher-Smith, they're there to get in some medal count that can ruin the Jamaican sweep. It is almost but certainly going to be an affair of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce winning. She goes to championships and she wins. All right, let's talk about how fast they can go. Now, this is going to focus on Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce because she's the most likely to break this. But here, this is muted to avoid copyright strike. Boom. Here's Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Here's Natasha Morrison. This is when she ran that 10.63. Look at how good and how fluent she's running. Then she gets about 20 right there, and she shuts it down. Now, that wasn't her shutting it down, except for not leaning at the line. She didn't lean at the line. It wasn't something like that. But she didn't shut it down. We're going to play this on half speed so we can see this. I'm going to use this to analyze, can she break this? Because unlike in previous years, she changed the coaching camp. She's developed more speed endurance work and more strength training, and it has improved the times, right? Now, here we go. Look at this in slow motion. Good cycling through. Transition pretty good. She was accelerating. Morrison trying to keep up, but she just can't. Now, right here, this is where she kind of shuts it down, but she didn't shut it down on purpose. After this race, she went into an interview and said she still has to work on her last 20 meters. So a lot of people were saying, oh, she shut it down. It wasn't until about 5 meters where she shut it down. She saw the clock. She saw that she broke 10.7. That's what she's been going after. Now look at this. Now you see her form break a little bit. Yeah, she didn't completely lean forward, but she saw about where she was. And she said, wow, I am under 10.7. That's what I've been going for. Now we're going to go over to another one at the Jamaican trials at the championships, right? Take a look at this. Let's speed this up just a little bit. All right. We got Elaine Thompson right there. Brianna Williams, she's going to get out real hard right there. Brianna Williams now, and Kimber Nelson. But look, going through everything, the picture is grainy. Boom. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Here's the flex. This is why I'm like, man, she got so much more left. And this is after rounds. The track is slick. Look at that. Now, anybody that runs in the sprint races, in the 100 or whatever, right? You know, if you try to run in a race, you're running as hard as possible. How easy is it for you to keep your mouth closed and breathe through your nose? This is a testament to how easy that was for her. Now, yeah, 10.71, that wasn't quote unquote easy. That probably was a medium hard or something to her. But look, she was able to keep that composure. She's not even breathing through her mouth, just through her nose, straight through the line, looking good, didn't have to lean. Chill, relaxed. Obviously, she's trying hard as possible to keep her mouth closed. She's doing this to flex. That's a flex move right there. She kept her mouth closed. Now let's look at this. Let's do some analysis very quickly. All right, now here's Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce on World Athletics website. Let's take a look at it. Now we look at her progression. She's getting pretty much right around 10.7. If she goes to a championship, every single time she wins, she runs a sub 10.8. So if she's winning this year, she's running a sub 10.8. That's pretty much a guarantee, unless it's some weird wind or something like that that's going on. But even against some negative headwinds that she's had, slight negative headwinds, she's still going sub oops, wrong one. Sub 10.8. Let's zoom in on this a little bit more so you all can see this a little bit better. Now, with that being said, she got so many golds, it's ridiculous. Now, the difference here is that she switched training camps. She's got better strength. And so in the past, I would have said, well, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce typically runs her fastest times outside of the championship. Now, the exception here, I think Doha is where she ran that 1071. That's where she peaked perfectly. Other years, she didn't run her fastest time at the championship. Sometimes she did, sometimes she didn't. But now I'm a bit confident that because she did it in Doha, because she switched over, she's running faster earlier in the season, right, than she thought. That unless they, oh my goodness, my mic fell, not editing that out. Unless they really mistime this, she's going to run one heck of a time. And especially, she said, it was no pressure. It wasn't like she was challenged or anything. And she ran that 1063. Oh my goodness. And she thrives under pressure. You all know this, that she thrives under this. So she's going to come back. She's ready to reclaim her 100-meter crown that she won twice before at the Olympics. Now, looking at her results this year, she's looking pretty good. She lost to Elaine Thompson-Herah, who ran a 1071 on a quote-unquote soft track. So that's a good sign for Elaine Thompson-Herah. Let's go over to Thompson-Herah right now. We're not going to do any analysis on her races because when I try to do that with Elaine Thompson-Herah, FloTac copyright struck me. So I don't even want to post up the races there. So we're just going to go off of her progression, off of what she's done. She struggled through injuries. She struggled through mental issues, which she's got to get through that. She's got to get through it, or else she's going to do and pull what many call an esophageal, where she gets to the championship and she can't perform under the pressure. When she looks good, 2017 was an example. She looked good. She was running sub 10, sub 11 with trainers on, with flats on. Yeah, she was dealing with her Achilles injury, but then even with her prelim, her semi time would have won. Same thing with Justin Gatlin. I think in 2015, his semifinal, he actually ran faster than he did in the final. I think that would have actually been good enough to beat Usain Bolt. Obviously, Bolt might have run a little bit harder had that been there, but he wasn't running relaxed. He tripped over himself, and then boom. That's how pressure does. Elaine Thompson-Herah knows how good Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is, knows how good now Shericka Jackson is running close to her too. And we saw that at the Jamaican trials that she came, and with the video that I just saw, that I just showed you guys, she came out like one of the worst block starts that she had. And I thought for a second, for about 30, 40 meters, I'm like, man, what's happening with Elaine Thompson? She's not even going to make it in the 100. But of course, the other people don't have the acceleration like her. Natasha Morrison doesn't. Nelson isn't fast enough. Brianna Williams isn't fast enough. So unless she really flubbed it up, then, I mean, her biggest threat would have been Natasha Morrison, and then she finished fifth. So that being said, here we go. I think Elaine Thompson, if we see peak prime Elaine Thompson, this is where I see it. I see Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, 1058. That's where I got to peg that at the slowest. If the race conditions are conducive, if through the rounds there, I think she has a 1058 at the slowest. If they aren't, I still like to see that Olympic record go down. That's what I would like to see, but I think that's going to be harder. If it's a slick round or something like that, I can see maybe a 1065, 1063, somewhere in that range with the pressure and everything that's there. Obviously, the fans aren't there, but they know the pressure of the people back home watching them. They know the people around the world, their fans are watching. Now, what do I got for Elaine Thompson-Herah? Now, Elaine Thompson-Herah, I got a break in 10-7. If we got peak prime, ready, mentally focused, Elaine Thompson-Herah that's ready to defend her championship title and ready at any moment that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce falls off, then we're going to see a sub 10-7. And I think she'll run somewhere around a 1068, maybe a 1065 at the fastest. And it really, all of this is going to depend on the tailwind. And if it's a headwind, if it's a headwind, some of these numbers are going to be off. But I'm thinking of this at the very minimum tailwind and everything. So, or no, actually a 0.8 to a 1.3 tailwind. That's where I'm actually calculating my times at, because if you look at these top times, most of the times in most years, you get a 1.3 to a 0.8 when you look at that top times list. And then there's some outliers here and there, but it falls right between 1.3 and 0.8. Somebody can go and verify that top 50, keep going down the list. That's where you're going to see most of the top times in their tailwinds at. Now, where do I see Shericka Jackson? All right, Shericka Jackson could be the dark horse here. She might just pull up. I don't think that it would be surprising if she wins, depending on how good of a start Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce gets. If she has one of her perfect starts, because sometimes she has misfire. In the final, she doesn't really misfire. But at her age, she may not have the same start. That's why she isn't able to recover as quickly. She isn't able to come out and race as many times as she did before. We got to remember, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is 34 years old. So with that being said, she's going to be ready for the championships. But if it's a misfire, that's what I call them, misfires. That's what I saw with Justin Gatlin. This guy's getting gray hairs all over the place. He still got his speed. He still remembers. His form is still good. That's carrying him through. His muscle memory and everything. But then he has some misfires. And so that throws him completely out of a race if he has a misfire. And that's the issue. So with that being said, let's say that she has a misfire. That opens the door for Shericka Jackson. I think, just like at the Jamaican trials, that she might actually pull up and do an upset. She might do, if it's a triple crown to anybody else, if it's a treble to anybody else other than Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, it's most likely going to be a Shericka Jackson, because I got it pegged in the 200, but this is about the 100, right? Looking at a progression, she focused on the 400. She's doing something like a Usain Bolt. She's moved down to the 100, blew through her PRs, right? Blew through her PR. And now, which this was her PR, and now she's ready for prime time. I got her pegged at, and like I said, it's going to depend on Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, but I really got to just peg that somewhere around the same, a similar area as Elaine Thompson-Herah, 10.65 to 10.68. And if it's really just some rock star thing, and it's just something that's being hidden, and that's only the Thompson-Herah camp would know, right? Well, then we might be in for a real treat. We might be in for a real treat here in the 100. But I think, to get it back to earth, a fair performance for her, a fair one, a good one. I see her at a 1072 to a 1074. That's what I would say, a good performance for her. I think that will be there. A rock star one is getting her sub 10.7. Now, I don't want to hype her up too much, but because that would still be a big drop from 1077 to go into 1065 or something like that. That's still a huge drop. And I think it's only so much an athlete can do in a year. But with that being said, hey, you know, COVID, it allowed athletes to break that. Now, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is going to run that sub 1062, break the Olympic record, knock the name of FloJo off the Olympic record, and put her name on the Olympic record? This has nothing against FloJo, but I mean it in the sense of one athlete to another one. You're knocking them off, because I know some people already get the panties in a bunch, clutching the pearls, saying he's a FloJo hater. Actually, no, I got some videos coming up on FloJo. She dominated the mess out of those athletes, no matter what people say about her or anything. With that being said, catch you all on the next one. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Peace.